Hello, everybody. My name is Alexis. I'm an entrepreneur, speaker, and author of the book A Journey into Truth, Unveiling Life's Secrets for Truth Seekers. And you are watching the Vibrate to Create YouTube channel. And on this channel, I talk about life, philosophy, meaning, art, spirituality, metaphysics, and so much more. If you're interested in topics like these, then click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified of when I post new videos so you never miss a video. Thank you for being a part of my journey. I hope you enjoyed today's video.
So Bert, in terms of your own personal life, how has this understanding influenced the way you live your life every day?
Well, I don't distinguish anymore between good and evil. And I see the bad person and the good person, both in the service of greater forces. So I don't interfere in a way where I get angry with somebody. I see this and I accept it as part of human life, that you are exposed to what we call good or evil influences, and both contribute to the personal growth.
So if I wanted to check in with me, or if you were to teach me, how to be connected.
So let's pause here for a second. So I talk about it all the time. I talk about good and evil. And also the nature of what creates a villain, what creates somebody who is traditionally seen as a bad person. And also in our society, it's so normalized to be like, they're bad, so put them in jail, go do something bad to them. But really, they're becoming villains along with those villains. And also, I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. I'm just like kind of pointing out how someone who has the very victim mindset, it's like a very opposite coin to the person who is the villain. It's like they can't exist without each other, right? And many times the victim, like when you really get into that mindset, it can be very unhealthy because that's where you feel that you have been taken advantage of, or you feel that you have been wronged in some form. And so you should have an eye for those who have wronged you as well. So it's like, and it's all very unconscious. I still do it at times as well. And also, like he was saying, I see so much of the beauty even in some of the ugly, because for some reason, that got passed down through many generations. And sometimes energetically, we get so pulled in a particular path in life because we're out of love, honoring those who came before us. When I was trained in family constellations, we talk about group dynamics and how in a family system, people follow the people who came before them, right? So let's say there's a family where everybody is an alcoholic, or it could even be everybody is poor, or, this is just the general belief system is we don't have a lot of money. And so many times it's just continuously over many generations because your belief systems and your DNA keeps getting, passed on. And so let's say these people keep believing that they have, I would even say many times abundance has to do with not including your parents or where life comes from, or not receiving life from the parents. This came up in one of my constellations about abundance. It's like not taking in the fullness of those who gave you life. So you don't say yes to life or yes to the beautiful things that life has to offer. And that was a very profound moment for me. And so where am I going with this? So group dynamics, that's where I was. So group dynamics. So many times we just keep following the same family systems. But like, let's say there's one anomaly or one particular person who wants to go off into a new family system or a new way of being, to shift that energy through a family constellation, or just through intuitively they just decide they want to shift the dynamics. And let's say it has to do with the money aspect, and so they want to shift into having more of an abundance mindset and allowing more life to flow through. So many times that person gets kind of shunned out, and they're like, the family system, because everybody has the same mindset and they have the same energetic, it's almost like it's like a clump of energy. And they all kind of stick together because they're part of the same family. And this person is kind of decided to take their own little pathway. So those people push them out and say, he thinks he's all that because he's got all these things, these nice things, and these cars and money and blah, blah, blah. And so it's almost like shunning that person, right? But this is just kind of an example of the group dynamic of how energetically things, it's much easier to stay in the family system, because if you decide to walk out of the family system, you're very much out there alone on your own. And the nature of humans and of love for the family, it's usually to stay in the same energy. And so for me, family constellations has really been very helpful to understand what are my beliefs that keep getting passed down. Where do I make choices in my life where I'm being run by the family system? Not necessarily run by the family system, where I'm following the same patterns of those who came before me. Where is that happening? And how do I become more conscious of that? And how do I decide to make my own pathway, or to start a brand new way of life, a brand new choice in life to allow more abundance? So let's say somebody comes in and they do a constellation like that about money, and then they start, this happened to me because I've done quite a few constellations on career and about abundance and money, but also a lot of things about other things. But just for sake of talking about this today, and as I did it, I feel like it's only been a year since I did my first constellation on careers, and things has shifted so much in that arena for me. Obviously, I'm seeing more shifting, and I'm taking new steps, and I met, my entrepreneurship coach, and things are really just starting to shift, and I'm seeing things really shifting, and my choices and the things that I'm doing and the steps that I'm taking that would have not happened had I not had a constellation. So to me, this work has been so life-changing, and it's like almost like the beginning of the opening up to a new pathway in life. So I'm very grateful for my constellations teacher, and also for this work in general, because it's part of why my life is, changing, and I'm deciding to start taking new steps. So I love family constellations. Okay, let's keep going.
How to be connected with my soul, as in that same way that you talk about. What guidelines would you give me?
Well, first of all, I would explain something about conscience. Many people think they are in tune with the real forces when they follow their conscience. But I have observed that conscience is something very particular and very limited. And it serves basically only the connecting, that we are connected to our own family. I will give another example, make it more easy. Now, if a man marries a woman, they both come from two different families. Now, both of them think that the values of their own family are the right ones. Now, if they would acknowledge that the other family is of equal value, they will have a bad conscience. But if they persist thinking that their own family is the right one and the other one is not so good, then there will be fighting between the couple all the time. So both of them have to give up something of this, of their own old conscience, and agree on something new on a higher level. If you set up two persons, let's say a person who has backache, and you set up the person.
Okay, hold on a second. I have, right before he said that, my back started to kind of like, I was noticing my back kind of aching. That is so weird. I'm telling you guys, this work is insane. Some people might be like, oh, that was just a coincidence. But how is that a coincidence that I just thought like, oh, my back's hurting a little bit. And I was like moving, like, how do I make myself a little more comfortable? And then he's like, let's say you have a backache. Okay, let's keep going.
And the mother, and you don't interfere, you just let them stand there. Very soon, a movement will start in both of them, which shows the real dynamics. And at the end, this movement will bring the two together in a way which you could not imagine before. So there is a movement starting which has a reconciling effect. Perhaps I give an example which may explain that more graphically. In a constellation in Israel, a woman, when I was working there in a group, a woman said that her father was murdered by an Arab. And I set up two persons, a representative for her father and a representative for the Arab who murdered him. And they didn't intervene. They just stood opposite one another. And then a movement started where the Arab first withdrew, that he drew closer to the man he murdered. They looked in their eyes, and a very deep love showed between them. And at the end, they both were lying on the floor side by side in peace. Now this is a movement of the soul. And when I asked the representative of the Arab afterwards, he said, first he felt full of hate, and then he looked at the eyes of his victim, then he could see him as a person, and then he felt a very deep love for him, and all the hatred was gone. Now this shows what can happen, not only between two people, but between two different groups who were antagonistic to one another before.
Oh, I have chills. Oh my gosh. This work is so beautiful and so good, especially at this time where there is so many divisive opinions and avenues. I have so many chills right now, if you could see it. So much division, whether it has to do with, religion and beliefs on God, or whether Christianity is the right way, or whether this is the right way, or things about color and culture and skin color. And we're seeing it so much and also you see the love as well. In my book, I talk about the nature of war and how it is a manifestation of love it's almost like, what's the right word here? It's like unknowing love, or what's the word I'm looking for? Misguided. That's the right word. Love for their particular family system. Where let's say it's like USA. It's like, I'm an American. And then here it's like, I'm Middle Eastern, let's say. And very connected to their family system, and out of love, it's like, I will protect my family system with love because I love my people. And here it's like, I'm American. and I love my family system. I love my people. And so when he's talking about that, that's what kind of came up for me, because there's so much of this in the world. It's like fighting against each other for the love of their own particular cause or their own particular belief systems. And we could even get into like, this has to do with things like veganism. Like, this is my family system. I am vegan. And I love my family system. So I'm in activism for veganism, or the family system of like, what else? Anyways, that's beside the point. Doesn't matter the particular specifics. This is just a very broad topic. But to me, you're seeing love on both sides as well. But what he said is, this brought such a beautiful understanding of the deeper nature of the deeper love between two people who could be very, like the word he uses, antagonistic or hateful towards each other, and understanding the beauty between humans, irregardless of their particular family systems, and bringing more solace and love towards two people who could be enemies. And I think that's why family constellations could be such a world-changing modality, because it helps us to see beyond, I am white, I am black, I am Chinese, I am vegan, I am Christian, I am Catholic, I am, and Eckhart Tolle, he talks about this in a very broad sense. It's like, he says the word ego, right? And also, you can see, I am not perfect, I am human, and I have my own family systems. So in past videos, this just came up for me, I've talked about being a woman. And to me, this idea of feminism can also very much be a family system where you're following in those particular footsteps and fighting for your own cause or your own love for women in general. So that's why it's very important to become conscious of the self and what our family systems are, because it can lead, it can be very healthy as well. I'm not saying it's all bad, but it can lead to a hatred towards a different side who is very different than you, who is part of a different family system, who is not a feminist, I should say, right word. Along those lines, I've also recently been watching, her name is Candace Owens, and she has very different viewpoints than many people. And I think